Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my channel and the fifth and final part of Rowan. She is available in my Etsy shop. And this one's taken a long time, but we are near the end. So we are going to finish up with the leaves today, and as I've been doing through this whole page, I'm going to be using Prismacolors. So I've got them pulled out, and I think I'm pretty sure I'm ready to just go. So some of these I probably should have sharpened before I started the camera, but oh well. Okay, so I'm going to start on some of these with putting the white down on the veins of the leaves, because that way when I go to put the color on and do all the blending and all of that stuff, that white will act as a resist and should do its job for me. All right, so I'm going to do quite a few brown leaves with some brightly colored ones intermingled in there in the mix as well. So I know brown is not like the most thrilling color. This is light umber, but when they're all mixed together, they look so nice, as you know, and have that nice autumn feel. So some of these are not even going to take much, you know, fancy coloring, because they're just, you know, they're in the background or they're brown, and it's like there's not a lot that I'm going to really do. So I've got chocolate in my hand. I'm just going to add some. Might as well. All right, we'll call that one good. Let's do this one. That is, we're gonna do some greens on that one. So let me pull out my olive green. And I need kind of a yellow, a bright yellow, and I don't think I have one of those pulled out. So give me 1 second. That lemon yellow seems to be a really nice, that one and canary seem to be good. Like, pull those out as well. All right, I think I'm going to use the lemon on this one, and then we're also going to want some browns, so maybe chocolate, maybe Sienna Brown. And then the olive green. I think that'll be light enough of a green. I can also use some Chartreuse to brighten it up if I want to. So let's go ahead and start this time with the greens. I think that way I'll know. You know, I tend to always go for the same greens, and I shy away from the really bright ones, but sometimes you just need the really bright ones. So let's do spring. Nope, I think that's apple green. Let's do apple green instead. It's just a little bit brighter than the other greens that I usually use, and it's good. We want a little bit of brightness. I don't know why, but that, I mean, this sounds like I'm such a dork, but that's when I said a little bit of brightness. my head instantly went excuse me, my head instantly went, a little bit of Monica in my life. So yeah, okay. I can't believe I just told you that. Anyway, that was a fun song many years ago. Doesn't feel like that many years ago, but when I really add up the years, it was a long time ago. Mambo number 5. All right, I don't know why I have a frog in my throat, but I do. So I'm looking to see if I have any beverage here, and I don't. So I'm gonna just put you guys on pause for a second and go get something to drink and get rid of this little gravelly sound in my voice. Okay, I'm back, and I can't seem to clear it, so that probably means I have a bad allergy week coming. My allergies always get worse in the fall, even more so than the spring. Seems like whatever blooms here in the fall, and we have a lot of stuff that blooms here in the fall, I'm more allergic to or something. All right, before I add the yellow, I think I want to add some lines. So this is the chocolate. Do I want that? No, I don't. I want Kelp Green, I think. All right, let's put the lemon yellow on here. Decided I better put my pencils down instead of holding them in my hand. That's where I always seem to drop them if I get too many in my hand at one time. Those the tops of photo boxes that you get at the craft store, those are so nice for holding pencils on your table. Keeps them from rolling around all over the place. It keeps all your projects kind of together in one in one little area. I like it. All right, let's do some Sienna Brown. And I'm gonna just do a lot of little tight dots. I love doing fall leaves. They're so much more interesting to do than, you know, regular all green leaves. If you don't want to do little dots, you can do just little teeny tiny swirly motions, just so that there's a little bit of kind of texture, visual texture, not physical texture. All right, and then if you want to, you can either, you know, take your pencil and do a couple more dots with a sharp pencil, or you can do like I love to do and break out those Arteza. You'd think that all I do is use these for making dots for leaves, flowers, but they do come in really handy for when you're doing little teeny tiny spaces and you just don't want to, you just need to get some color down, but you don't want to mess with a pencil. They really are nice. I like having them, even though I don't use them all the time. When I do want to use them, they're nice to have. Okay, I think I'm gonna call that one done. Just gonna fill in, use anything. This is the Chartreuse, but I had some areas here where I felt like I missed some color, so we'll do a little brightness there. Okay, so this one is yellow and red. I think I'm going to try poppy red. It's very orange, but I think that that's kind of what I want. So some of these stems are red. I got online and looked at different colored leaves and was really amazed at how many different colors there are. Sorry guys about my throat. I feel like I should just not talk because it's all icky. I feel fine, but this is chocolate. All right, so very light pressure. So I don't want pencil marks. So again, you don't have to follow mine. You can get online and you can search for fall leaves, and if there's color combinations that you see there that make you happy, then you know, use those color combinations. I think I'll put a little bit more down here. All right, this time I think I'm going to use Canary Yellow. It's a little bit more vivid of a yellow. And I'm just seeing one thing right here that's bugging me, and that's the stem that I forgot to do. So sorry, had to get that in there because I would forget. And I'm going right over everything. I don't care if it smears or... Smears isn't really the right word, but you know what I mean. Like the colors can blend together, and that's okay. That's a good thing. All right, I think I'm going to put a little bit of this chocolate around the stems, just in a little tiny swirly motion. Not stems. What's this? Veins. The veins of the leaf. I blend with white, what will happen? That's good. Yeah. All right, so that's just dark. That's not, this is like deep in shadow. I'm just gonna use the espresso instead of black and just make that dark. It's really not supposed to be anything. And actually, something that I missed from the last video is this bit under here, which is pumpkin. So this is the cadmium orange hue. And that'll be fine. Maybe a little chocolate or something to darken it, since it's in shadow too. Okay, so this leaf is brown. I know it's not very exciting, but so I'm gonna use my white because I want the veins, at least if we're gonna have a brown leaf, I want a leaf that's got some interest to it. So, and then also what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my white pencil and I'm just gonna put little slash marks on here. You can probably see the slashy marks that I had on here from when I did the original piece. They're supposed to be the veins of the really fine little veins of the leaf. But there was no way that I was going to just draw in every little section. So the hash mark, the little hash things seem to work pretty well to give me the look that I want. So that's what I did. All right, let's try chocolate. I think I'm gonna like that color for a leaf. And in this case, I think I'm gonna try putting the white on top to get the highlights. I'm finding more and more often that when you're working on grayscale, it's kind of similar to working on a toned paper in that the whites seem to show up okay, not fantastic, but okay on top of other colors. So this will be a good experiment to see if that's true or if I'm just imagining things. Okay, let's not go crazy. So on this one, I'm going to try the white on top. On this side of the leaf, I'm going to go ahead and put some white first. Because this is the side that I actually want to be the brightest, and just in case I'm wrong and that doesn't work, I want to you know, have a backup plan. Actually, it's interesting how different the color. Boy, the color looks so different when you put some white underneath. It gets really orange, this chocolate. I forgot that it does that. I think that's okay. When it comes to leaves, I think that's okay. All right, I'm going to put a little bit of espresso in these darkest areas here. And maybe a few other areas. So it's not one solid color of brown. Let's blend. Oh, do I want to blend with... Okay, first things first. Let's put a little bit of white. Yeah, that's showing up. All right, I think that's enough. Now, do I want to use my colorless blend? It's definitely easier on the ears, this one. That Prisma blender really gets scratchy and unpleasant. Yeah, this is working just fine. Yeah, I actually like the way that came out. I think that's good. All right, the next one. Let's do some Sienna Brown, some Espresso, and something like eggshell, or maybe cream. Let's try cream. So I'm going to put a little bit of this in some areas here. In fact, any of these areas that are light, those you can go ahead and put the lighter color down on. Or if you want to put it in a different area, you can do that too. Okay, so this is, you know what? Let's do the same thing that I've been doing. Let's do the veins, get those in. Okay, so Sienna Brown. And then some espresso in here as well. My funny looking espresso. I have to sharpen this one half the time with a blade because it's so off center. All right, I'm kind of tempted that I'm kind of thinking that I want a little bit more orangey tones on that one. So I've got mineral orange here, and I think I'm going to use that. All right, in this case, I'm going to use the Prisma blender. And I wish I could tell you like definitively why certain blenders, why I reach for, one blender over another. I don't have a good answer. There's just some times where I just feel like the small, hard blender will work better. I know it sounds terrible. I don't like the sound either. But usually the sound is the worst if you don't have enough pigment on your paper. If it's really scratchy sounding, it's because it's coloring, not coloring. It's rubbing against the paper as opposed to rubbing through lots of layers of color pencil. And it's I don't like it. It's still too dark. So I can do one of two things. I can take and gently erase, which is probably what I should do. I'm just going to erase some of this And I'm going to put the mineral, do I want mineral orange? Or do I want a red or orange? Poppy red's probably too orange. Pale vermilion. I'm going with pale vermilion. It was just, they were too close in color, and they were, you couldn't see where one ended and one began, and I don't like that. I wanted something a little bit more different, so that's working out okay. Much, 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 much better. Look at that. That white is showing up. That's awesome. Okay, next leaf. Green leaf. So let's do some kelp green. I'm going to use pale sage as the, these are actually 2 leaves, but we're going to do them the same color. All right, kelp green. So it's so weird. I always get olive green and kelp green confused because to me, this shaft looks like kelp green and this shaft looks like olive green, and they're just the opposite. So I'm always picking up the wrong pencil because I think it's its brother. Okay, so this one. Darkest. And then I don't want that to be solid. I want there to be some browns in there. So I think I'm going to take light umber. I'm just going to put a little bit of that in here. All right, I might pull out a different green for that one. We've got moraine green and moss green. Moss green is really yellow, so I don't know if I'm gonna like it or not, but I'm gonna try it. Because I do want to have a lot of variation of greens down here, since we're I kind of like that. So let's do moss green. We can always add, because this is kind of like the underside of the leaf almost. Then we can put some, I guess, kelp green. We'll keep marine green out of the mix since they're kind of similar. So we can We want to make sure we don't have any areas that don't have pencil on them. We don't want, when you're painting a wall, they're called holidays. I know they're not called that here, but I don't want like an outline of gray paper showing there. Okay. I'm just going to blend the whole thing. That darkens up those lines. I think that's just fine. All right, so kind of want to save this one for last because it's got the most color in it. But while I'm here, there's another spot that I can see that I missed. That's supposed to be pumpkin. That's in here. So this is the pumpkin orange because it's that nice dark reddish orangey pumpkin color. We'll do that in here. All right. And I probably don't need to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right, well, let's do this one first because it's, you know, behind this one. All right, this one has all the colors in it. So, Chartreuse. And let's do olive. Olive. And let's do some bright yellow, maybe I'm kind of thinking Canary Yellow on this one. And then we're going to do some reds. So we've got some poppy red. I want some pale vermilion. All right, we'll start here and then I'll add I want some deeper burgundy reds in this one too, which I don't have pulled out yet, but we can do that later. All right, I'm going to start with some Chartreuse. And some Canary Yellow. A little bit of that on the tips here, and a little bit up here. All right, let's do pale vermilion. And I'm going to go ahead and put this all over, even though I'm going to come in with some more reds over the top of it. Kind of get a buffer color here before we start adding more of those darker colors. Let's put some apple green in here. Okay. All right, so for my reds, Tuscan red probably, and maybe chestnut and henna. Let's start with some henna. Let's see what that does. That one's good on the, especially on the dark gray parts. It keeps it really nice and dark, but because of the red tone in it, it helps to, it just makes it look like dark red instead of looking gray. I like that. Okay, let's come back with some more of this pale vermilion, and a little bit heavier now so that the color gets a little bit more intense. I don't know if it'll do any good, but I'm going to try and put a little bit more of this yellow in here. It kind of makes things even a little bit more orange because it mixes with, it's brightening things up a little bit, which I like. All right, cool beans. So I'm going to take my espresso and just do some texture in here. I don't think I'm just checking to see if I can still get the texture that I want with a little bit lighter of a color. This is chocolate, and yeah, the chocolate works too. I might bring a little bit of this. What is this? Cadmium orange hue. Just bring it a little further down into where the yellow is so that it's not a hard line between the two colors. So I switched to chocolate because it's a little bit softer than the espresso. And then maybe a little bit in here. I didn't put any veins in this one, and I think I want veins in this one, but they're dark veins, so I don't think that will be a problem. Blending out those dots. That looks good. Okay, so if I use my espresso, just put a few more of these vein lines in there. And sometimes if you do that and you're like, I really like it, but it's just a teeny bit too harsh, I guess, just soften it with your blender and just kind of let it do the work for you. That looks good. I'm happy with that. All right, last leaf. Last leaf is going to be yellow ochre, maybe some mineral orange, maybe some chocolate. So I'm just going to do the mineral oak, the yellow ochre all over the whole thing to start. This is mineral orange. So I think I'm going to pull out Goldenrod. I can find it. Okay, maybe I have it out already. Oh, it's hiding, I think. Yes, okay, Goldenrod. Still think I want things to be a little bit, yes. It's actually pretty similar to the mineral orange that I just put down. But it's getting me more the color that I actually wanted. I know, coloring on the edge of the paper is a pain, but I like the way that the page looks when it's finished so much better when it's edge to edge instead of that white border around everything. All right, let's do some, I'm gonna try Sienna Brown. Yep, these marks I want to be bigger. This discoloration here. Actually, I might do some of that in here. Let me try blending this with a pencil instead of a blender. So I'm going to blend with yellow ochre because it's kind of the same color. Okay, so again, you could use like Espresso to put your dots on there, or you can use a pen. Try some different colors. Let's try, what is this? That is a pen that is maybe dried up. Nope, not dried up, just shy. That's really subtle, but sometimes subtle is really, really nice. And it's so much easier to get all this nice texture where you're not having to press down very hard with your pencil to have it make a mark and break in the tip of your pencil and all of that. You can just make your little dots. And every once in a while I would just, draw on another piece of paper to, you know, kind of help clear off some of the, any wax that, you know, might happen to get on there. And then if you want to, you can, if you get your finger down there early enough before it really has a chance to dry, you can tap the pen with your finger and just soften it, just the tiniest of bits. It's not gonna blend it away a lot, but it'll just soften it just enough. Okay, so I probably did not mention which ones I used for all of that, so A118, that was the one that was really subtle and light. A182, that was the one that I used up in the Rowan leaves, and this dark brown. There's a lot to choose from. This one is A164. It's also kind of subtle because it's subtle on these colors because you know, it's more of a mid-tone, and these colors are kind of mid-tone, or you can go, you know, with the really dark A134, and it'll show up much better. All right. I'm feeling like we're really close to being done. This is Sienna Brown again. Sometimes these discolorations run along where the veins of the leaves would go, so they would, you know, kind of spread out from the center through the leaves. I wish I knew that firsthand, but I only know it from looking at pictures. Because we don't, like I told you before, we don't get these pretty colors here. All right, the only other thing that I'm thinking I might want to do is take my espresso. I think I'm going to outline this. And when I say outline, I don't mean full on, like go around and outline the leaf. I'm going to leave some spots with no color. But I kind of want to make it show up better. So I'm going to make it like the edges of the leaves have turned brown. I think that's good. All right, is there anything else that I've missed? I'm not crazy about the veins here being so bright, so I'm going to go over these leaf veins with light umber and let it kind of go away, because it's just kind of a filler background leaf, nothing, you know. And then there's some area here that I can see that I didn't get color in. We don't want any gray showing at all, so I'm going to fill that in. I think that looks pretty good. Make sure there's nothing that I, you know, forgot to do from previous videos. I could, if I wanted to, go around and darken these black lines with a black liner. But to be honest, they don't bother me. I think they're fine not being super duper black. And I'm afraid my my hand would just not be steady enough. And so since I don't hate them as they are, I'm gonna leave them as they are. But there she is. I think we're done. Yeah, I'm not going to do a background because there's so much color and stuff going on here. I don't think it's necessary. So I'm going to call that finished. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Your comments and your support is awesome. So thanks. Until I see you guys on the next one, which is going to be something really different for me. As far as paper, at least I think so. We'll see. If I pre-do it and it's awful, then disregard everything that I said and I'll come up with something else. So I guess it'll be a surprise. So until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Happy coloring. Bye.